So the first question is for both of you because SparkShort has several rules. We can say you have limited time, but you have a land of never-ending creativity. So I want to ask you, which was the most challenging part of this work and which was the most exciting part of all of this project?
Oh, well, I want to talk about both because they kind of combine for me. So I do agree that it's this really small box that you have to fit in to make these, but you're also given a lot of creative freedom. Louis came to the table with a massive idea of what he wanted to make. And so that in itself was the biggest challenge of how can we get as much of this into the film that he wants, and also required being so creative and really partnering with everybody on our crew to figure out how to do it. So most challenging, but also most rewarding and most creative part of it combined. And I stole your answer, Louis.
That was a beautiful answer. No, you didn't steal it. See that? Again, I needed someone smarter than me. She already had the answer locked and loaded. I would have circled the bowl for about 5 minutes and then you would have been like, oh, my time's up. Sorry. See?
You're right. So I want to ask you something to you, Louis, which was the inspiration behind this story and why wrestling?
Well, I like the idea of this grandmother that was non-grandma. Like in media, we're used to seeing sweet grandmas that bake cookies and love you and kiss your boo-boo. And my grandmas did that. So this isn't to say my grandmas were like super, like they hit me with the stick. And no, my grandmas loved me very much, but they also had a big personalities, right? They had that toughness that, you know, I would, as a little kid, little shy boy, I'd be a little bit intimidated by. So I'm like, I want to see that in animation. I want to see that. I want to see that character in a story because that representation isn't around, you know? And I'm like, and just to be honest, I love it selfishly because it reminds me of my grandmothers, right? So like, if I can honor my grandmothers by bringing them in as an inspiration for a story, I feel like, you know what, I won, regardless of how good or bad the short is. You know, the short is already more meaningful to me than just the story or its results, right? It's actually sharing in my family, kind of making it a little bit deeper for me. It's a deeper experience. So I found that to be the biggest part of the inspiration, right? Is just making it family, you know, making it, even my team, it's family. Like bringing it together and owning that space from a family perspective is huge, you know, for something like this. It's all inspiration for this.
Yeah, I completely agree. One last question about the message of this story, because in the end, I kind of feel like I have to, mend the age gap between generations. I want to ask you if this was the aim of the short.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I was definitely feeling the thing in my career that was, I'm the older cat, and there's a lot of hungrier, younger people coming up, artists in it. And there is an element of trying to deal with that, right? Coming to grips with it, you know, really not trying to stay locked in what was in the past and move forward and deal and kind of befriend and take care of the future, right? Not take care of, but befriend and be a part of the future. Like, you know what I mean? Like not fight it. Yeah. And I felt like that worked in such a beautiful way for me because it was also like stories are, I feel like films and stories are we're writing stuff and doing stuff that we are going through currently. And it was like, I couldn't deny it. I wasn't trying to do it, but the more I kind of looked at the emotional scars I was putting into the story, the more I realized like, oh yeah, this is really my story about me in animation, you know?